What's going on, people? It's your boy Tactics, and I want to briefly, well, first of all, I know I haven't really been posting a whole lot or at all on this channel, and I will eventually try to change that and start posting more, but in the meantime, until Boost is still in production, pre-production, post-production, whatever, yeah, I won't be able to do as many vlogs as I would like to. But I have some free time right now, so I want to briefly discuss the Justice League Flash Paradox movie that came out. Well, I think it came out like a while ago, but I'm kind of late in watching it because I just saw it yesterday. But apparently a lot of my other friends have seen it like 2 weeks ago, so I'm a little behind, but whatever. So anyway, saw it yesterday, and my personal opinion and my personal thoughts are it was fucking incredible. I mean, I was thoroughly entertained all the way through, and I'm glad that they brought the Flash to the forefront for a change, because I personally think that Flash is one of those really underrated characters, and even me, myself, back in the day, didn't really take a strong liking to the Flash. Nothing against him. I kind of deemed him as like, you know, so he can run fast, whatever. I didn't really understand the physics behind, and I guess the physics are kind of skewed because, I mean, in actual reality, if someone were to run that fast, they would suffer from inertia and all that shit. But anyway, I didn't really grasp the full capabilities of his powers, and it wasn't until I got an appreciation for him is when I really started to respect him and like him as a character. And it wasn't until I saw that one episode of Justice League where Brainiac takes over Lex's body and becomes this super Brainiac type person, and then Flash single-handedly just fucking fucks his shit up. Like, it was in the craziest scene I'd ever seen on Justice League. And sorry, like, my face is a little groggy. I just woke up. But anyway, yeah, this movie was great, man. I went on IMDb and I started reading some of the comments on the forums, and a lot of people were bashing it because of the fact that it was too dark and too gritty. Like, oh my gosh, Wonder Woman just fucking killed that kid. She cut off some chick's head. What the fuck is going on? Like, people are like freaking out, and I'm just like, do you not understand, or have you ever read a comic book like in your life? Like, these stories, these movies are derived from comic books and graphic novels, and you know, if you read some of the stories, or even if you look at some of the covers, they're pretty dark and gruesome, man. I mean, like, the Punisher alone, look at the Punisher. I mean, like, people were bashing on the Punisher Warzone movie not because it was a shitty story, but because it was so gory. And I haven't seen it. I've seen like parts of it or whatever like that. But yeah, I mean, what do you expect the Punisher to do? I mean, tickle people? Like, the Punisher is the Punisher. He fucks shit up. He kills people. He shoots them in the head. He stabs them in the neck. He does all kinds of shit. He's the Punisher. That's what he's supposed to fucking do. So I was kind of shocked and taken back by the fact that people were like thought the Flashpoint was so dark and like disturbing and all this shit like that. Like, I mean, this is coming from like a person who does not read comics at all, but still I expected, and in fact I actually enjoy the darker toned storylines than the more like moderate and toned stories. So yeah, for that alone, I think that's what sold me, because they fully went there, and they, like, you know, Batman shot a motherfucker in his head, like, you see the shit, like, you're just looking right through there's a hole right through his head and shit like that. Like, that shit was awesome. Like, I was like, damn, like, Batman's kind of gully, even if he's not really the Batman. But anyway, yeah, it was awesome. And it basically, the Flashpoint is like the Flash, he accidentally rips a hole in his timeline, or he travels back. What? No, not. He doesn't travel back in time, but he travels through an alternate universe where everything is different. Batman is not Bruce Wayne, but instead it's Thomas Wayne, Bruce Wayne's father. And in fact, the reason for that is because, well, I won't spoil it for you, but yeah, everything has changed. Like, Green Lantern doesn't exist because Hal Jordan got killed. Wonder Woman and Aquaman are at war because of a certain particular reason, which I won't disclose right now. But yeah, there's a lot of different changes in the timeline. Flash actually doesn't have his powers because the accident that gave him his abilities never actually happened. So there's a really cool scene where he has to recreate it and shit. And yeah, it's pretty interesting. But anyway, yeah, the story was great. I really liked the character development, and what else? What else? Yeah. This is why I'm glad that I'm not a comic book reader, or that I'm a fan of comic books, because I actually get to enjoy movies. And that's a shot to all the comic book fans. A little bit of a low jab, but whatever. And the reason for that is because a lot of comic book fans keep complaining that these like movies that get created based off the comic books don't exactly follow the source material to the T, and it ends up upsetting a lot of fans, right? But to my understanding, there's like so much source material within one storyline that it makes it really difficult. And I can understand, being a filmmaker, it makes it really difficult to cram all this shit into one storyline and make it like make sense within the 90-minute window that they have, right? So to me, I can understand why they might take certain elements out and add certain things in just to make it make more sense to the outside, like to the people who aren't, comic book readers and won't really care about the extra stuff or whatever. Like, I can understand if you're a comic book fan and you want to see certain elements come to life on the big screen, but you have to also consider the fact that they can't exactly do that because they have a certain time frame that they have to abide by, and to cram all that stuff in, like, for example, like, look at Spider-Man 3. Like the fans demanded Venom, and the original villain was supposed to be Sandman, and I think they were alluding to the fact that Green Goblin was going to become the Green Goblin. I don't know if they had intended it to be in the third one, but you had 3 villains all in one movie. They tried to cram things all into one to appeal to the fans, and look what happened. It ended up fucking up the franchise so badly that they had to reboot the shit, right? And I mean, I guess we can be thankful for that, because the new franchise, while I didn't like the first one, seems to be like following the source material a little bit better, and it shows a lot of promise. And I saw the trailer for the next Amazing Spider-Man, and it looks pretty good, actually. So I'm kind of looking forward to that. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. The point is that sometimes you can't really appeal to the fans in that regard, because of the fact that things, like, if you add too much things in there, it gets convoluted, and then it ruins the storyline in itself, and then nobody's going to enjoy it. Even the fans, like, because they're going to be like, oh, that was actually kind of bullshit. You know what I mean? So that, like, taking that into account, I can understand why they might not add as much as the stuff as they want to, because I'm sure they want to, you know what I mean? And, like, DC's really, really doing a great job with these animated movies. Not so much in the live action department. I mean, Marvel's kind of got them beat in that regard. So I'm hoping that DC can kind of pull through on that, and not put so much focus on the animated movies. Like, you won with that shit, but let's start getting these, like, live action movies in motion, and get, like, a good one out besides The Dark Knight and Man of Steel. But let's see, what else can I say about this? Yeah, it was good. I encourage anyone to go out and watch it if you haven't already. And yeah, the thing is, like, I just want to see a good movie. I don't care about the fact that it doesn't follow the source material to a T. Like, just give me a good fucking movie. You know what I mean? Like, this is why I didn't really get all upset or, like, up in arms and shit over the fact that Nolan's version of the Batman wasn't exactly accurate to the comic books. Like, I don't really give a shit. Like, there's no denying that the Nolan franchise was a superb Batman. It was great. You know what I mean? Despite the fact that they made. I gotta sit down. I'm tired of shit. But the fact that they made a good Batman, because we haven't had a good Batman in a while, since Tim Burton's Batman, and even though that was really good, his version, that wasn't a proper, accurate depiction of Batman either. I mean, Batman's parents weren't killed by the Joker, but I still love that movie. That's like one of my favorite movies of all time, so just give me a good movie. That's all I really care about. Like, would I want to see a comic book movie where it actually follows the story, like the source material, and we get a more dark and gritty undertone of these characters? Of course I would. But in the meantime, if there are certain elements that don't allow you to do that, then just give me a good movie. That's all I really care about. But anyway, that's my review on Flashpoint. I know it wasn't much of a review. All I'm going to say is I think it was great, and I think that if you're a fan of superhero movies or DC or whatever the case may be, watch this movie. But anyway, time's up. I'm your boy Tactics. Peace, and I'm out.